Let's go, man. I know what time it is, man. We're it's crazy right now. The DML is in high stakes season, man, and it's week 12, and it's a lot to talk about, man. But before we dive into the show, let me bring in my co-host, Fab, man. What's going on? You in the building? Let's get it popping, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mary? Man, it's high stakes season, so you already know how what this is about. Everybody's playing for positions. Let's get into it, man.
Listen, right before we even get into the show, all right, it's high stakes. I believe this is your first high stakes season. You know, how's how has with all the jitters and all the expectations and the things to look forward to. How has it been for your first experience with playing in an all-out straight battle in the DML and high stakes?
Yeah, man. So at first, this being my first one ever, there's definitely a lot of nervous and jitters going on, especially when this is the last season. You want to make sure that you do well enough to you want to pick in that top 15 spot. At least that's my goal for me is that top 15. Um, you know you're going to deal with some injuries. You
Mm-hmm.
know your schedules are going to be tough for high stakes because you're putting that pressure on yourself. You know that, oh, I know I can beat these people, but then a little slip up could cause you a loss and it drops you a spot.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, you have to look at rules and make sure that you follow them correctly because you don't want to get hit with certain violations. You want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure you stream. So it's stressful. High stakes is stressful.
Listen, man, I believe this is my ninth one, and it seems like you would think that the more the experience you have with playing in high stakes, that your nerves would be like kind of calm. But listen, I gotta agree with you, man. It's tense. It's definitely tense because of the simple fact of the game that we're playing. And it's not nothing to take away from users, or it's nothing to take away from you know you say stick play, because the game that we're playing, it just seems like it's a coin toss every single time. You don't know if Matt is going to bless you. You don't know if Matt is going to curse you. You just don't know what to expect. So with that, on top of knowing like, you gotta finish at least from my opinion, at least in that top 10 slot to get a nice squad to where so you can compete out the gate and for next cycle, it makes it nerve wracking. And then also too, knowing that there's a lot of good talent loaded in the DML, man. This high stakes has been, it's been very interesting, man. But let's dive into a lot of stuff that's going on right now around the league. Of course, rule drop. A lot of rules was implemented for high stakes every season, every cycle. This is what happens around this time. How do you feel like the rules that has been implemented has been impacting this season so far?
Man, so the thing I like about the rules is, well, I like these set of rules specifically because it limits players to certain play calls, and it actually makes people look outside, like look more into your playbook. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? The plays picking, you only get three limited for offense. So once you use, let's say you use your favorite three plays, the first quarter, now you go in three quarters without using that one play. And everybody has their little go-to play, right? Let's say on a third and long or third and short, or you're in the end zone and you want that easy touchdown. You no
Mm-hmm.
longer have that play, so that's tough. The audible adjustments, I could already tell. You can tell itself by like the records out there for teams that you expected them to be high.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, why? Because you no longer are audibling or hot routing three or four different players. You know what I'm saying? You can
Mm-hmm.
only do one hot route, so that's pretty tough. You know that if you do two hot routes, you get hit with a violation.
Whew.
Um, the defensive, yeah, the defensive, it's good. You know what I'm saying? You can pick any defensive play you want, but you
Mm-hmm.
still get that cooldown. So it's almost a chess game, right? You got to play this chess game where you know he's gonna run, but don't. But should I run commit versus just playing in neutral, or should I pass commit versus I'm playing in neutral? Because either or, you're gonna get burned. So it's really chess. You got to think ahead of the buys. You got to make sure you look at your plays correctly. Just and that's basically it, man. The rules are perfect for high stakes. And there's some people that are struggling, like
Mm-hmm.
struggling really bad.
Listen, man, I can't agree more with you on that. I feel like from previous high stakes, we kind of brought back a couple similar rules that we had in previous high stakes seasons. So I feel like definitely out the gate with the cooldown on the offense side of the ball. It's making users have to dig deep into their playbook, and it's kind of putting people in their in the uncomfort zone. Whereas though, like you mentioned, a guy knows, excuse me, if it's 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11, I know I got my go-to play that I can go and get 12 yards or 13 yards to get that first down. I know where I can go and make that hot route to where as though it'll open up that seam route or it'll open up that drag route. So it's like you said, it's chess. And as you can see, don't get it twisted. The top guys are gonna ball out. But you can see that it's kind of evening the playing field for some of those top guys who's kind of there, that's trying to break through that ceiling to compete with the DML elites. So it's definitely making the season more interesting and definitely making it more competitive. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the season's going to end with some of these guys, in these in the power ranking slots. See if some dudes was kind of in that middle pack is going to creep up and potentially make a playoff run. But let's talk about some of the guys who have been getting hit with violations. So my question is this right here. We already know the season is super tense. Now, stepping into the season, you start getting hit with violations that makes you drop a slot or two in the Madden 25 DML team draft. What is your motivation, or how do you look at entering the game of how you play and come out? Is it more so one of them things where you're just like, hey, it is what it is, or does that add more fuel to your fire each week every time that you're coming out, the player user knowing that you already dropped 1 or 2 slots in the DML draft?
No. If I was one of those players, for example, if I got a violation, I would still try to obviously play to my potential. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is that, let's say you do drop one spot, there's a big difference between 25 and 26, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And 30, 31. Actually, 31 and 32 is a big difference, because you can either have the worst team in Madden, or you can have the second worst, but at least you'll have a better shot than the 32nd spot, you know what I'm saying? So the goal would just be try to play, still continue to play your game, just don't give up because you went down 1 or 2 spots. Now, if I'm another player and I see that somebody else went down 1 or 2 spots and they're ahead of me, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to play to the best that I can, because I know that even if I have a worse record, I know that they'll have 1 or 2 violation drops and I can still surpass them, you know? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think you play it out regardless of what position you are. There's a couple teams out there that are still winless, but due to some of the violations, they might still pick over that one person that has the violations. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Regardless of if they're winless. So I would just continue to play. And continue to play and make sure you follow them rules. If you don't know them, go read them again, because it's tough. You still got to follow the regular DML rules, and you got to look at your high stake rules. You know what I'm saying? You want to avoid those violations at all costs.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things right there. It's easy to fall victim to the trap of it is what it is. I don't give a hell. Being as though how the game is played, and also too getting hit with a violation. But like you said, man, look, I would if I was one of them users where I got hit with a violation and I'm dropping a slot, that's more motivation for me now, because at the end of the day, like you said, there's a big difference of you being in position to kind of select the team that you would like to play with in Madden 25 versus another user selecting your squad when you're picking at pick 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. And you're getting the bottom of the scraps of what's left. So that's definitely going to be interesting. I got my eyes on a lot of guys because there's some guys who have been balling out in previous seasons who got hit with a violation or two in the beginning of this season. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they're going to use that motivation to come out and play for the rest of the season. But let's dive into the power ranking that we have selected up until week 12. Now, some users on this list have been pretty much in the top 10 all cycle. But we have, matter of fact, we're going to get to that when we get to that. But we have the Packers, we have the Bears, the Cowboys, 49ers, and we have the Ravens. Now, with the number 5 slot right now, we have Vandy Champ and those Baltimore Ravens. User who pretty much has won a hunger banner already this cycle. Knows what it's like to come out pretty much and have a good season, great season, and have one of the mid-season where he just got to the playoff and one of the wild card slots and still came out and, of course, went and made a deep playoff run. With the Ravens right here at number 5, what's your thoughts, and can you see him creeping up that ladder as we finish out this season?
Yeah, man. We know Vandy. He's a demon user, man. He has really good stick skills. His run game is amazing. Mm-hmm. He's got Lamar Jackson, and you already know that how that man's a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? Lamar Jackson could break you for 55, 60 yards if you don't cover that QB run correctly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. His run game is super balanced. Now, this is one of the users that has violations on him. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm him, I'm absolutely making sure that I play to win the Super Bowl, you know, because you're gonna drop. But he's a top 5 user. He's definitely he could definitely do it again. Honestly, we seen he's a constant playoff appearance user, you know. So
this is one of the things I like about this Baltimore Ravens squad, and I feel like this is one of the things that's going to keep him in a key in a key spot to be able to make a deep run in the playoffs. Right now, his defense is ranked number 2 with points allowed. When you are a user who could come out and only allow users in the DML to only average 19 points per game, that puts you right there in the best position possible to win any game, any playoff game, any Super Bowl, whatever. And like you said, he is a user who got hit with a violation. But this is the thing I noticed about the AFC. This season, the AFC has taken a step back, in my opinion, you know, and I think that is because of the play call rule. Now, once again, maybe I can be right, maybe I can be wrong, but this is how I feel. So I feel like with the way that Vandy plays, that benefits him. He's sitting at 8-3 right now, but I definitely can see that Baltimore Ravens squad, because the top of that AFC spot is tight right now. You got a couple guys who's 7-4, a couple guys who's 8-3, so it's real tight. So I definitely could see Vandy, Champ, and the Baltimore Ravens possibly locking up that number 1 spot in the AFC and potentially making a deep playoff run representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. But moving on next, man, we have our division mate, Andy and those 49ers, man. I'm going to let you take lead on this one, man, because this guy right here, when I tell you, and it's all love when it comes to Andy, I am tired of playing his ass, man. Like, cycle after cycle, whether it's us playing in the Super Bowl, us being in the same division, us just lining up our schedule to where as though we're playing one another. I'm tired of playing him, man. But what's your thoughts on Andy and those 49ers coming in at the number 4 slot on the power rankings?
Absolutely, yo. I'm going to say this on air. I beat his ass. So that's a W for me, man. That's a morale win for me. Really after playing a user who pretty much had my number the entire cycle. You know what I'm saying? This man, when he seems he's down and he's down 20 points, because I remember there was a game he was down like 20. He came back and won. That man finds the grit inside him and just comes back and wins. His run game is really good. His pass game is balanced. His defense it's ridiculous, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, it's annoying knowing that you're gonna play him and you're gonna get the best out of him, because that's just what he is, man. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's constantly in big games. He has so many weapons. His defense alone is fast. They could break through your O-line and sack you 2, 5, 6, 7 times in a game. So it's difficult playing him, because again, it's one of those games you have to play chess with this man.
Yes.
When you think you got him figured out, this man turns around and is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna drop 30 on you, just a quick 30 on you, real quick, just to make sure that we win this game." So yeah, it's tough. I think this is a perfect spot for him. I could actually see him climbing even higher and taking that 2 seed, 3 seed. It really depends on on the Packers how they finish. But Andy's gonna be there. Andy's gonna be there at the end of the day. He's a hell of a user. We see him twice a year, so we know we tired.
Listen, man, listen. When I tell you, this is a user where I believe I said it 2 seasons ago on the show. He's one of them guys, man, where he just has to get to the dance. That's it. Like, he's not one of them dudes who have to, he's got to get to the dance. Because all of his best moves, all of his best tricks will be bust out, and he's going to woo and wow the crowd. But from my perspective, I'm tired of playing this guy because, like you said, you got to come out and you got to play chess with this guy, no matter if it's an early game y'all playing in the AM or if it's a late game y'all playing in the PM. His roster is loaded with tremendous talent from top to bottom. I believe he has the most 99 overall players on his roster out of the whole entire league. It just seems like they just keep birthing them every single season, whether it's a dude that he's picking in the second round, third round, fourth round, seventh round. It's like the dude knows how to bring out the best in each one of his players. And to put things on top of that, how the hell do we allow, or how the hell did this guy end up getting Jamar Chase? So he's one of them users, man, like I said, man, he just got to get to the dance. I could definitely see him, if the Packers tend to fall off, the face of the earth and take some surprising L's for the rest of the season, I can see him either getting that number one seed spot. So Andy's going to definitely be there, man. But let's move on to our next guy, who is a dog in the NFC. Hot Tub and the Cowboys coming in at the number 3 slot. Now, same guy, man. You thought that with this guy taking the hit that he took this offseason, losing his number overall, 99 overall wide receiver, I believe he lost him, correct? He lost his...
I'm telling you, and that receiver is a mammoth loss because he's on my team, so I can see why he loved that target. It's a huge loss for him. It really is. It's unfortunate, but it's part of the game. It's part of the rules.
So he lost 2 players. He lost his wide receiver, and he lost. Was it
Micah Parsons?
Micah Parsons. Now, I'm just being honest. I got hit with that violation before, and that is a tough pill to swallow. But it's an even tougher pill to swallow when you know you're going into the most important season of the whole entire cycle. But it just shows that Hot Tub has that winning and championship DNA in him, because he's sitting in right now in a comfortable spot, 9-2 in the NFC, having a great shot at securing the number 1 seed in the NFC, man, and flat out, it's like this team hasn't missed a beat with losing those 2 guys, man. He's ranked in the top 10 on all categories on the offense side of the ball, and he's ranked top 10 in all categories on the defense side of the ball. So what's your thoughts about Hot Tub, man? Can you see this guy making a run? Can you see him, stepping back a couple slots? Like, what's your thoughts on Hot Tub coming in number 3?
Yeah, I could definitely see this man making a run, and here's why. It's like he got that next man up mentality. He's like, yeah, I took 2 hits on 2 of my best players. But it's like you said, he found a way to still manage to have one of the top defenses in the league, one of the top offenses. His pass game has not regressed at all. This man is still passing at a record pace again, like he has the last 2, 3, 4 seasons. You know what I'm saying? And he's motivated. He lost to those players. He also is one of those users that got hit with those violations, the spot drops. So this is going to be one of those seasons where he's going to be like, you know what, I'm in it to make it to at least the conference championship and win that Super Bowl, because those drops they're gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt. The drops are gonna hurt. But this man, he has the game to beat anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? His fast, electric. So he has it all. He's pretty well balanced. So it's a good spot for him. It really is. It's a good spot for him. The only thing is injuries. Injuries are sporadic. They are random. At one point, your team could be without injuries the whole season, and come week 16 or week 15, you lose your best player. You know what I'm saying? So in this case, do you start resting players? You start seeing their time limit. You know what I'm saying? So. You want to be as healthy as you can for the playoffs, and if Hot Tub is healthy, man, he can make a deep run, like a deep run.
Listen, man, Well, this is another user, man, where unless the Madden gods bless whoever's playing them, you know that you're going to have to go through Hot Tub. You know you're going to have to go through Andy. Like, this is one of them users where you just know. But definitely not shocked at what he's been doing this season, man. But I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of his season is going to go. But moving on next to the number 2 slot, we have the bus with those Chicago Bears, and you was a guest on a previous show where the bus said, "Listen, let's go back. I'm winning high stakes," and right now he's in a great position, sitting at 9-2, and his squad, man, so far this season has been playing lights out. Just getting back to that play style of ground and pounding, sprinkling a little bit of that passing attack, but the defense, oh my God, that Chicago Bears defense has been scary. And one of the things that I noticed and I like is he's benefiting off of the rule that was added in, because like you said in the early part of the show, when you know that you're going up against certain users, it's just going to happen. When you're going up against certain users and you're making that offense one dimensional, where you're forcing them to have to run that ball, because the Bears secondary, listen, you talk about no fly zone. Chicago of the Windy City, man, I don't know what it is. It's like he got a reincarnated younger version of Marshawn Lattimore, who's balling out. He has his safeties balling out. His top cornerback is like, it's just gelling so well, man. And you can see that that's what he's coming out focusing on, like making dudes have to be one dimensional. And then when you get on the offense side, you already know he's doing well with clock management, with that rushing attack, and he's also taking the correct shots when they're open. Where though a dude is now stacking 8 in the box, he's coming down play action, hitting you over the top. So the bus is definitely standing on business right now, and he's balling out. But what's your thoughts, man? Do you feel like the bus is going to continue to keep that tank gassed up, speeding towards that Super Bowl appearance, or you think he might slip a few slots back?
Man, this man, this is a bit. He said he was winning it all, and at the pace that he's going, it looks like it. This man took his bus, went to the mechanic, and got an oil change, and is now driving like remarkably good. You know what I'm saying? Got his tire rotations, everything. This team is gelling, man. His run game is insane. It's not just because of one halfback. That man has a 3-headed monster back there. You know what I'm saying? He has 3 halfbacks that if one goes out, it's on to the next one. He could run the ball. He's passing a lot more with that play action to the tight ends, to the wide receivers. So he's not taking those risky shots like we saw him earlier in the year, where Justin Fields was leading the league in interceptions. Now he's passing really well. His defense is outstanding. So much speed in the cornerbacks. Marshawn Lattimore leads the league with 11 interceptions. So it's stop targeting him. Stop going to that side. Go to the other side. But yeah, that man's in with a mission, and he said it himself. He wants to win it all. He wants to be in that top 3 player pick, and he's steamrolling through them. He beat the Packers user, the new Packers user that was in. They were undefeated, and he beat them. So now he's only a game back behind the Packers. So that's going to be a heated battle to the end. So I'm eager to see that.
Now, I have my next question lead to, as far as motivation. Do you feel like the bus is really, really fired up, knowing that the Bears, who pretty much been a squad that nobody really would have high up on their draft board in previous Mads, versus, with them getting Cam, getting that, what's the wide receiver that they drafted from Washington State?
It was they got Odunze.
Yeah, so all right, so with them bringing in all of that young talent, can you see the bus being motivated even more, because he knows that is a squad that's gonna be a fun squad to play with in Madden 25. So the Bears in previous Mads probably would have been, I would say, in that fifth draft between 15 to 32. But now that seems like that's possibly a top 5 team that could go high on a lot of users' boards. So do you feel like that's a little bit of extra motivation that the Bust is playing with this season?
Absolutely, absolutely. It comes back to that. I remember a couple of shows ago we did the whole H Town and the Texans. If we still believe the Texans were going to be down low, and we said, "Hey, the Texans are going to be top 5 team." Exactly that. The Bears, man, the Bears look like a fun team. They got so many weapons now with Adunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, a young offense, man, that he can honestly run the whole cycle with. He wouldn't even have to trade anybody. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, this is motivation. He wants to win. He wants his hometown Chicago Bears. You know for a fact he's not going to let that go.
No, I can't see it, man. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, man. All right, man. Moving on. Next, we have what's his name? Emo. We have Emo, the new owner of the Green Bay Packers. Now, a lot of people saying that he's benefiting off the fruit of Embrews, who was the previous Packers user labor. I can't agree with that because I done seen a lot of users get put in position that he's currently in right now and fumble the bag. You know, I done seen plenty of users come in that have a loaded roster and just can't make it gel right. But what he's doing, you know, stepping in out the gate in one of the most important seasons, and what he has been doing with this Green Bay Packers squad, I had the pleasure of playing him. He's balling out. You know, I'm not going to sit here and try to take anything away from him. And he's doing it against a lot of the top users in the DML because his first couple games wasn't no cakewalk. He had the Bust twice. He had me. I believe he played you. I believe he played you. And he had a couple other guys sprinkled in there. So what's your thoughts on the Packers, man? Like, do you feel like this guy can win it all, or do you just feel like this just is one of them, like Kyle Porzinga's game yesterday, the other day, where he came out and, I mean, he was just lights out across the board? Do you feel like he's going to be brought back down to earth, or do you feel like this guy is going to be representing the NFC, if not you, inside of the Super Bowl for this season?
I'll tell you this. He is no slouch, man. I haven't had the luxury of playing him yet. The other players have. I don't think I have him on my schedule at all, which is kind of a bummer because I wanted to play him. Especially since I played Embro a couple seasons ago, and that came down to a 1-point victory for Embro. You know, Elmo is reaping benefits from that roster because, you know, Embro was a demon developer. That man used to develop players like crazy, and that was another team that had a few 99 players on it. You know, his defense was always fast. His linebackers are quick, but Elmo is good on the sticks, man. And like you said, it wasn't no easy route. He's played you, he's played Andy, he's played KP, he's played the Lions user. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough competition he's playing, and the fact that he's 11-1 now, to 12-1 or something like that. Yeah. It shows you the man has the stick skills. It really does. It doesn't matter if it's a good team or not, because like you said, you could be anybody and take over a team. It doesn't mean that you're going to automatically win. You need the stick skills for it. You know, he just happened to hold out far enough to one of the good teams to fall out, knowing that he, in his mind, he's like, you know what, I got the skills. I could take this team and do the same thing Embro did. You know, But the thing is, he's new to it. We still got high stakes. And you know that once playoffs hit, there's a whole different animal in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say keep pushing what he's doing. Get that 1 seed and get that home field advantage, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, man, because I'm not going to lie. This is a user where he makes you think, you know? And you have to be on your A game because he's not just dinking and dunking to one player or one receiver. He's spreading that ball around. And like you said, of course, the way that Embrew developed this squad is definitely a lot of talent on his roster, but you have to know how to get utilization out of that, which it could be an easy thing of just forcing and ground and pounding with that 99 overall running back, or that 92 overall fullback, So he's definitely, I don't know if he went back and watched some clips that from Embro previous games, but this dude, it feels like, being honest, that Embro have not left Green Bay. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Emo's going to do with that squad. But you already know, if you're going up against some Seahawks, we coming to chop your head off, man. But let's move on next, man. Let's talk about some of the guys some of the teams and some of the users who have been hit with those early high stake jitters, and kind of started off rough, who's kind of right there in that middle of that pack, man. And looking at this list from the Eagles, whose owner is Bino. We have Never Quit, the owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have who's the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders? Is it
Z is the news?
Z? Right, yeah, it is
Z.
Z. It is Z. I keep forgetting it's Z. I thought Randy was still there. We have Z, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. We have under 2 rated, of course, the owner of those Washington Commanders, and we have you, the owner of those Los Angeles Chargers. Now, each team that is on this list at some point throughout this cycle made a playoff run, have been in the playoff on a consistent basis. Made a deep dive in the playoff, but this season kind of started off a little bit different. Now we're gonna start with the Philadelphia Eagles with Bino. He sits currently, I believe, at 4-9. Tough start to the high stakes season. Looking at his schedule, he has. His schedule is tough that he got left. He has left on his schedule. He have Z with the Raiders, who he plays this week. He has AJ with the Jets. He has under with the Washington Commanders. He has Andy, the owner of those 49ers. He has Dub and the Broncos. Then last game of the season, he has Hot Tub. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 games that he has left. My fault. 7 games he has left. Sorry about that. This is the time where it's put up or shut up. I believe right now, if you're looking at that wild card slot, the user that is in the wild card slot has a total of 4 losses. Do you think that Bino has enough off of what I just mentioned, the remaining of his schedule? Do you think that he has enough fuel in his tank to get him to possibly secure the last slot in the wild card for the NFC? Or is this just the ship has sailed season for Bino?
Yeah, so man, it's tough because Bino's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember last show we was talking about how certain teams saved their last season for the wrong season. Mm-hmm. I think this is one of those. This is one of those instances. Sabino was 13-4 last season. Mm-hmm. He had a up record, and man went to an NFC Championship game. But Madden is Madden, and when you do good, they bless you with a really good schedule. You know what I'm saying? Really tough opponents, and that's what's happened. He's ran into really tough opponents, and everybody else knows that it's high stakes. And there's been some games. If you look at it, I've watched some of Bino's streams. Man, he's in it, and then all of a sudden, that little Madden, overthrown INT, that random fumble, just the wrong reads, the wrong defensive plays. With the last 7 games, I say he makes a push, but I think he ultimately falls short. It's a tough schedule. When you got AJ and Hot Tub, one of the 2 last remaining players, is tough. When you have the Commanders, which is your division rival, it's even going to be tougher because he's looking to climb up also, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just think he does his best, but ultimately falls short of the wild card because the other team, there's a couple teams that the Rams, the Commanders, and the Bucs are looking to do the same, and they have slightly a better record than the Eagles. So the Eagles have an uphill battle to climb. And it's not going to be easy. It's doable, yeah, but it won't be easy, especially with the remaining schedule he has.
You got to hit your knees, Bino, man. You got to pray, man, because, there's a lot of question marks out there in Philadelphia that I feel like that needs to be answered. I don't understand how this team has not won a banner or made deep playoff runs on a consistent basis with the way that roster was loaded from out the gate up until this point. But I'm rooting for you, Bino. I want to see it, man. You said that the Eagles fly together, fly high together. So I'm looking definitely to see what you're gonna do with those Philadelphia Eagles. But moving on next, man, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and never quit. Now, I believe he sits right now currently at what? Let me see. I believe he's. Make sure I'm saying the correct information. He's sitting currently at 6-6, right? And this is the some pretty much just like the Bino case here. Never to quit. Always came out, and balled out. Played tough. He's one of them users who had a couple good seasons. But when you're in the NFC South, and you know that you can get first round home game with a record of, let's just say, 10-6, because it just seems like the way that this division is lined up, maybe that's the reason why Never to Quit is having the season that he's having, because you already know all I got to do is get 10 wins. That's it. We already know that he's gonna win an NFC South. But do you feel like entering the playoff with so much expectation and so many users going through the gulag of playing a hot tub, playing Andy, playing the Seahawks, playing the Packers and the Bears, that could kind of come back to bite Never to Quit in the ass? Because if you're just trying to coast through this season knowing that your division mates is not going to challenge you at all for that division crown, do you think that he's going to be prepared when it comes playoff time, when he's going up against some of them heavy hitters in that first round, who could potentially be you, potentially be Andy, me, Hot Tub, or the Commanders, or even the Bears or the Packers? How do you feel like that's going to line up for him?
Yeah, man. See, that's always been a tough question, because there's some users out there that want an easy division. You know what I'm saying? Because they always want to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But then the users like myself, who I'd rather be in a division where I know it's going to be hard, because I know my game's going to get better season by season. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe this wasn't the way he wanted to be in that division. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it just happened to be that way. But he knows he can have even a 7-9, 8-9 type of season. He knows he's still gonna make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that bad. But again, I think the Bucs at 6-6 right now is kind of impressive, and the reason why is because his quarterback and his right guard are injured, and they've been injured for the last 5 weeks. He quarterback Quan Tapp, who's out for another 2 weeks. He has his right guard Lindstrom, who's out for another 3 weeks. So those are huge losses. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not just a wide receiver or a halfback. We're talking about the main quarterback, and the fact that he's sitting at 6-6 speaks loud.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is his schedule is also tough, man. That man has some tough remaining games. I believe he has a game versus 49ers left. He has a game versus the Jets left. So I mean, he'll make playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like you said, would he have that consistency just because he's played 6 games versus users? I think once he gets healthy, he'll give it a ride, but he'll make playoffs, and he'll have his top 14 pick, especially in high stakes. At least that's the least you can hope for, is that top 14 pick, right? By making playoffs, you're automatically part of the top 14 picks anyway. So,
all right, man. Let's see what you're going to do. You're going to definitely get a top. You're going to secure a top 15 pick. So let's see if that can kind of motivate him to climb up the ladder a little bit more. But moving on, next we have Z, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, in Z case, man, this is. I don't know if anybody had any user outside of you who had a tougher start to this season. And I'm going to go off the first half from week 1 to week 6. This dude played the new Chargers user, where he came out and destroyed him, 65-28. All right. Next, he played the Packers, where he lost by 8. The week after that, he lost to Bruce and those Jaguars by 8. Then he came up and he played against Dub and those Broncos, who is his division mate. He lost by 3. Then he played against Tight Work, where he lost by 41 points. Now, after getting through that, this was kind of switch gears with Z. After getting through that first half of your schedule where you get through the mess, all right? You come out, you wiping, you getting up, you wiping the ash from your face, you dusting the dust off of you, and you enter in that second half where you kind of feel like, all right, I had a couple close matchups where these are dudes that I know I'm going to run into in the playoffs, and I kind of was there, and you enter that second half of your season. Does that kind of lighten the load, or is doubt still creeping in your mind, knowing that dang, them L's was adding up? I needed to win those L's. So do that make him more tense or more relaxed entering that second half of the schedule?
Yeah, man. So his schedule, the thing is, he knows that there were games there that he could have won. He knows that for a fact. Especially seeing him from season 1. That man went 13-4 also with the number 1 seed in the AFC. Remember when he first took those Raiders, and we were like, "Whoa, this man literally came in and took off," just like Emo is with the Packers. But as we all know, the schedule gets tougher. Players at high stake get better, and he's feeling it right now. You know what I'm saying? He's feeling the fact that these are DML veterans that have been here before. The fact that what is he now? 6-5, I believe. 6-5. Yeah, the fact that he's over 500 and still has the ability to make playoffs motivates him. You know what I'm saying? Because Dub is not that far out of reach. He can honestly creep up and beat Dub and take that 6-7 seed in the playoffs, and that gives them a solidified 14th pick, right? Let's say if it's a 1-and-out, it's a top 14 pick, which is what we're all looking for when we make the playoffs, right? Because once we make it, we're like, you know what, we're good. We got the top 14. Now it's about going further. I want to have even a better shot to get on the team that I want. I'm not sure about the rest of his schedule, but I know he has some tough opponents left, including some divisional opponents. He's looking to beat Dub again. He's looking to beat Billy Jones again, which is the Chargers. I know that he just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he has one more matchup against them. And the Chiefs are always a tough opponent to play. So he's definitely had his ups and downs in this high stakes season, but I wouldn't count him out. He's a good player. He's built a good team, and he's ready to roll.
All right, man. Looking to see what you're gonna do, Z, man. But moving on, next we have Under, the owner of those Washington Commanders. Now, this is another user who pretty much, I feel like, even though, he doesn't be said, he's just one of the users, man. He's trying to just get this over with. He came out, he started off 3-0, kind of let a lot of questionable outside of the loss to Hot Tub, and I would say Z. And of course myself, the Seattle Seahawks. But questionable losses. And I know in the game that I played against Under, it just seemed like it was one of them games where it was a gift and a curse. Quarterback couldn't drop a damn a raindrop in a bucket. So this is a user who I feel like it's either hit or miss. It's either he's clicking or he's not. But with the way that the second half of his schedule is lined up, I mean, it doesn't get no more easier than this. He has the Giants, right, who's pretty much picking at the bottom of the league. He has the struggling Eagles with Bino. He has Eric Yo, who's my guy, cool dude, but you already know what you're going to get from out of Eric Yo. The only questionable game that I have on the remainder of his schedule is when he goes up against you as far as the Rams. But outside of that, he has the Chief, who pretty much been on the milk carton the whole entire season with losing Pacheco for 42 weeks. That's definitely a major blow. But outside of that, he pretty much is in full control of his own destiny. So what's your thoughts on the Commanders, man? Do you feel like after going off of that schedule, does he have a shot at making the playoffs or even a shot at winning that division if, Hot Tub decides to take his foot off the gas pedal a little bit?
He ain't winning that division.
I thought I'd throw it out there. I thought I'd put it out there.
I mean, no disrespect, but he ain't winning that division. Hot Tub is on a whole nother level right now. I mean, it's out in a mission. I think, man, sometimes these seasons are unpredictable. Sometimes you think you're gonna go in there and win every single game, and then you're fighting against the user and against Madden. So I feel it. I had those games before, and it's tough. It really is. I definitely see him making playoffs. Absolutely, I definitely see him making the 6th or the 7th seed, right? One of those wild card teams. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The first 4 seeds they're already there. You know what I'm saying? They're winning the division. They're all set. We're just getting ready to see who they're gonna play. But I definitely see him coming out at least 4 out of 5 wins because he definitely ain't beating me. I tell you that. I'm not gonna lose that game. I need that game. So, he's definitely a good user. He is sporadic, so he's streaky sometimes, and then there's some losses you kind of scratch your head like, damn, did he really just lose to that player? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the ups and downs hurt, but the fact that he knows that he's in a good position with the rest of that schedule that he's looking at, that to me that would be a motivator because you're like, you know what? I know I could win, but now it's about limiting turnovers, playing my game, and not trying to force anything. And remember, we come back to that one rule that we said, which is the pick and plays and the adjustments to the hot routes. Mm-hmm. He was one that would run that little stretch seam a lot for that running back, man. That running back was disgusting. But the fact that now you have a limited amount of running plays on that Washington playbook, it's tough for him. It's tough.
Listen, man, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Things are going to get shooken up with the second half, with us entering the second half of the season. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Under's going to do with those Commanders because, boy, when I tell you, when they're on, they're on. I'm talking about hit sticks, INTs, breaking tackles, all kinds of kick returns, like especially everything is just clicking in Washington when they're on. So, I'm interested to see what's going on, but you already know, if it ain't the Seahawks, we ain't cheering, we ain't rooting. But moving on to the next slot, man, we got you coming in. Let's talk about it because I seen it. I was like, God dang, this is a tough start to a high-stakes season. And out the gate, you had the Bus week 1. We had the Seahawks week 2. We had Bino week 3. We had Andy week 4. You had Bruce week 5. And then you had Hot Tub week 6. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
Listen. When I seen that schedule after the draft, man, I didn't even care about the draft. The first thing I went to look at was my schedule because I wanted to be like, you know what? I'm going to go in. I'm going to see how the high-stakes schedule is because I know this is going to be the best season. And in those first 7 weeks came by, I'm like, there ain't no way in hell I got hit with this. I was in complete disarray, man. I had no idea how to even attack it. And I felt so good, too, man, because I went into free agency and I spent all my cash. Every single one of the dollars that I had, I spent it all. I signed like 5 different receivers, 5 different cornebacks. I was ready,
You killed this all season. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, look, I seen your roster. I said, God damn. I'm feeling how you feeling. How the hell I'm gonna beat the Rams this season? God damn.
Bro, and it was such a hell of a free agency, man. And it's paying off right now, the second half that I'm going in. But when I saw the schedule, I was like, you know what? I have like a 50-50 shot on every single one of these players that I play with because I'm confident in myself, Mm-hmm. But when I took that first L versus Chicago, it was tough because I remember that game specifically. It was a rainy game. And since I like to pass the ball, man, you know how hard it is to pass the ball in the rain in this Madden game is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I got hit with interceptions and fumbles and stuff. I was like, damn, bad start. And then who did I play week 2? I think week 2 I played 49.
You played me week 2, yep. I remember that game. That was a bad game.
And I got my shit smacked again, and I was like, God damn. So I started 0-2, and then I got the Eagles, and I'm like, you know what? Eagles played really well last year, so he might beat me. But then we played 2 times. The first game I was up again, and then the second game we played, and I won. I'm like, okay, well, there's no victory. But then the rest of the schedule just kept getting harder and harder, bro. And then I went on vacation for 2 weeks, so I had to give up 2 straight L's on forces, So I was already in a really, really bad spot. I believe I was like 1-6
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. So then after I got done with that, I finally started getting a little bit of a breather.
Mm-hmm.
I beat I beat Bino, and then somehow I smacked the 49ers. And you know that man, he doesn't like getting smacked because he's gonna have that vengeance when it comes playoff time. So
Mm-hmm.
I beat Andy. I think I beat you right after,
Yep.
which also I told myself I needed that win, man. Because see, with this division, the least you want to do is go 500 in this division, right? The
Mm-hmm.
moment you fall both teams to you lose both games to good users, you're like, damn, now I have to work twice as hard and make sure I beat everybody else just to make playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So beating you and beating 49ers was really good for me. My confidence is out the roof right now, man. I feel like I can't be stopped.
Okay.
Um, I beat the Texans. I forget who else I played.
You beat up on the Texans. You beat the Cardinals. You beat the Giants. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this remaining because I feel like looking at the remainder of the schedule, you have definitely. I'm gonna say out of the remainder of the schedule, we have one definite win, and that's Week 18. But the rest of these games, the reason why I'm not going to say definite too is because these I feel like are all trap games. You play expert this week, which is going to be. I feel like this is going to be a toss up, but I think you definitely going to come away with the W on this one. I just feel like I got the feeling because after beating the 49ers and then beating my Seahawks, like you said, the motivation is there, but then you go into your bye week, and that kind of sometimes that drains morale, and then you come right back out of the bye playing Flair, who's right now has not won a game at all this season, but everybody already know there were two users in the DML that you do not want to lose to. HBO, who's no longer here, and Flair, because you already know if you lose to Flair, the memes is going to start dropping with him having your soul, doing the funeral line, saying you're dead. So that's the first trap game. The next game is you play against Eazy-E, who you already know what you want to get from him. You know that he's going to go to the tight end. You already know that, but it's knowing it and stopping it is two complete different things because the way that tight end is built, you could triple team. You could then put the referee on him. He seems to still make plays. Then you go up into Washington, hoping that, of course, once again, those commanders are not clicking. So break down your second half of your season, on what motivation you're driving in to each matchup with.
Yeah, absolutely. So my motivation is to make playoffs, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To make the playoffs and to make a deep run into the playoffs because I want a good pick so I can get my team. You know, because that team is probably going to be gone if I'm down in the 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to drop in the 20s, man. I've had it. I think I have a really, really good team. I really do. I love my team. The weapons that I've gotten has been easier on me to score, and my defense is playing well. So the Browns is going to be a really good game. I played him before. I beat him before. Expert is also playing his heart out because he doesn't want a bad team for next season. You know, for next Madden. He doesn't like his Browns. He's going to make sure that he gets a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders is going to be a tough game. Also, I played him before. I think we split. I think we're 1-1 in this cycle. So he's a really good user. It's like you said, I got to catch him on a bad time because when he's rolling, that man is rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna smack the crap out of Flair, bro. I am not losing to Flair. I cannot lose to that little midget, man.
I feel you, man.
But
Listen.
Flair is always gonna be tough, man, because those teams that are winless or those teams that are bad, right? You tend to go in there already like I'm gonna win regardless. That's a trap right there. That's where you start making mistakes. You start doing things you haven't done all season. So you just got to go in there and play the games like if you know that they're at your level, you know, because you don't want to stoop down and try to do crazy things you haven't done all season, and that's has been some of the problems for some of these users, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I see a favorable second half of the schedule for me because I already went through hell for the first 6 games, the first 7 games of the season, you know. So I've gotten the confidence to just finish out strong.
Okay. All right, man. That's the breakdown of the power ranking and the walk the line squads who we feel like have the best shot at making a potential playoff run or at least getting themselves higher up on the draft board. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray, man. It's always a pleasure, jumping on live with you, Fav, doing the show. Hopefully, man, we both have a great ending and closing to our high stakes season in Madden 24, man. Looking forward, of course, if not being in the same division, definitely looking forward to playing you all next cycle, man. We out.
For sure.